Hello, welcome back to Recently Interesting.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's good.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna do first ever part 2.
Yes.
So a couple weeks back talked about conspiracy theories, and we didn't get through all of them. So I still have a lot, and I wanted to touch back on those.
Yes.
So I feel like we're gonna just pick up where we left off and see what we think about these conspiracies.
What
My first one here, I guess, that was next in the lineup, was artificial diseases.
Okay.
So I thought this one was very weird. It said scientists have found evidence that HIV was transferred from monkeys to humans in the 1930s. Evidence exists, however, that the KGB deliberately disseminated a notion in the 1980s that it was invented by the CIA. This idea and similar ideas concerning Ebola have since been promoted. Similar conspiracy theories allege that pharmaceutical companies assist in the creation of conditions and diseases including ADHD, HSV, and HPV.
Wait, can you say that last sentence one more time?
Similar conspiracy theories allege that pharmaceutical companies assist in the creation of other diseases, essentially. So the conspiracy is the government is manufacturing diseases.
Do you believe that?
I would say yes. I think at some point in time there was a large scare during war times when they were making nukes and weapons and all this stuff, that there was a huge chemical weapon scare. And so I feel like if you imagine during World War II, the United States was we have to be the first to make the atom bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And make these super weapons, and they put everything into it to do it. I feel like when the scare came about biological weapons, I have no doubt in my mind that they're we have to be the first to make the most deadly chemical weapon. And so yeah, I think they definitely have it somewhere. I definitely think they're testing things and doing things all over the place, and sometimes it gets out.
But that would be accidentally, not intentionally.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I guess it's still artificial in some way because it's manufactured. It's not like where it's oh yeah, someone was hunting and ate a monkey, and that's how AIDS got
Right, but it's not too
contracted.
dissimilar from if people live near a sewage plant or something and everyone near there gets some kind of cancer or something,
Yeah, but that's still sort of, I mean, it may be artificial things that are going,
but it's not the aim, the goal.
Yeah, it's it's still naturally formed in the sewer. It's not like some scientist put it together. You know what I mean? So I guess the theory is that there's a laboratory where they're making diseases. Do you believe that there's a laboratory where they make diseases?
They are intentionally creating diseases to give to people. And they're experimenting on their own people.
I wouldn't say experimenting on their own people. It's just, I feel like just the fact that it...
So let's use America, for example. They're giving Americans diseases to make sure that it will work if they use it on a different country? Is that the idea?
No, the idea is not that they're testing it on their own people. The idea is
just biological weapons.
They're creating it.
Maybe.
Who they're testing it on, what they're testing it on is irrelevant. Just the fact that the theory is that they're making it.
Could be true.
They're cooking it up.
Could be true. I don't know one way or the other about that. You mentioned ADHD, which is not a disease. It's a disorder.
Yeah.
But I do believe, because that seemed like a sort of a different topic. It says
I read this from a conspiracy theory website.
Yeah, it says similar conspiracy theories allege that pharmaceutical companies assist in the creation of conditions and diseases, including ADHD, HSV, and HPV. I mean, ADHD is not a disease, but do I think that pharmaceutical companies assist in the creation of ADHD? I think that you could say that in the sense that, being fed Ritalin and Adderall and all those kinds of stuff could then maybe instigate attention deficiency.
Yeah, they gain from it, so who's to say they're not?
Well, no, I mean that...
Well, like the pharmaceutical companies are making money selling.
I mean
Ritalin.
that...
So, they might be...
Relying on medications for something like ADHD might increase the problem rather than decrease it.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because it says in the creation of it.
Yeah.
So, if you have ADHD and you're taking a bunch of pills, you're not going to get over your ADHD.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, next one. I'm going to say, for me on that last one, is a yes. For you, would you say... Are you for or against?
I have no clue. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I don't feel like I've studied enough, or I don't have nearly enough information to say what I think one way or the other, because I've never researched that topic.
Well, you don't have any feelings whatsoever about it? You're like, yeah, I feel like that could be true, or I feel like that's probably not true.
I don't assume one way or the other. I'd have to do the research.
All right. Next one is fluoridation. Water fluoridation is the controlled addition of fluoride to a public water supply to reduce tooth decay. Although many dental health organizations support it, some conspiracy theorists claim that it is a way to dispose of industrial waste, or that it exists to obscure a failure to provide dental care to the poor. A further theory promoted by the John Birch Society in the 1960s described fluoridation as a communist plot to weaken the American population. So there's that one's kind of a thick one. There's one theory in this that says it's to dispose of industrial waste. There's another that says it's there because of some sort of failure to provide dental care to the poor, and another says that fluoridation is there to weaken the American population.
Yeah, I don't... The idea of fluoride being added to water just made me feel a little weird.
Because it's poison? Because it's literal poison?
It's gonna strengthen my teeth. Is it really? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a dentist. I don't really know anything about that, but I do know that toothpaste for kids often comes in with fluoride-free options. So if it's good to take it out for kids, then why should we be having it? I don't know.
All I know,
I think it's kind of weird.
I remember watching.
I don't know what the goal is.
I remember watching, like, I don't even know what it was. Some Criminal Minds, CSI Miami, I don't know what. But it was some cold case show. Definitely fake. Like, not like a documentary or anything. But this lady, like, I don't know. she ate a bunch of toothpaste, like on purpose.
Oh, was it My Strange Addiction?
No. It was like a cop show, but like she was, she was like wanting to get out of her marriage and wanted to frame her husband, and so she like
suicide attempt.
She ate toothpaste and died because of all the fluoride, and then
That's really
like ever since that, when I was a kid, I was like, what? If you eat toothpaste, you'll die? And I still think about that sometimes. I'm like, huh. But yeah, they were like, yeah, it's because of the fluoride. And I'm like, but there's fluoride in the water. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Doesn't make sense, but all right. Sure. For me, do I think it's a way to dispose of industrial waste? Not likely. They'll just dump it in the ocean. Do I think it exists because it's a failure to provide dental care?
To the poor?
Is
it truly strengthening our teeth? That's my question.
I don't know.
If it's poisonous to your body, what about that strengthened? I don't know.
Do I think it's there to help with dental care? I don't think so. Do I think it's a communist plot to weaken the American people? I don't think so either. I would say most of this is I don't believe in. Is fluoride in the water? Yes. Do I think it's because of any of these reasons? Not really. What about you?
This is one that I don't have a strong opinion on. Like I said, I just think fluoride in the water makes me kind of uncomfortable. But why is it there? I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay, this is a new one. I've never heard of this before, but apparently it's a thing.
Okay.
I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it's Nibiru. 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 Anyway, conspiracy theorists have long poised a plot by organizations such as NASA to conceal the existence of a large planet in the solar system known as Nibiru or Planet X, which is alleged to pass close enough to the Earth to destroy it. Predictions for the date of destruction have included 2003, 2012, and 2017. Which, if you haven't noticed, we're still alive, so there might be some holes in this theory. The theory began to develop following the publication of The 12th Planet in 1976 by Russian-American author, I apologize again, Zenkaria Sitchin, was given its full form by Nancy Leiter and has since been promoted by American conspiracy theorist and end times theorist David Medee. The notion received renewed attention during the period prior to the solar eclipse of August 21st, 2017. Other conspiracy theorists in 2017 also predicted Planet X would appear, including Terrell Croft and YouTube pastor Paul Bagley. Before his retirement after 2012, David Morrison, director of the SETI Institute, CSI fellow and senior scientist at NASA, said he received 20 to 25 emails a week about the impending arrival of Planet X, which in my opinion is kind of wild. Science writer Grover Schilling noted planetary scientists are being driven to distraction by Planet X, and it is not surprising. You devote so much time, energy, and creativity to fascinating scientific research and find yourself on the tracks of the most amazing and interesting things, and all the public at large is concerned about is some crackpot theory about clay tablets, God, astronauts, and a planet that doesn't exist. Those are two quotes from scientists who received questions about this Planet X. So I feel like the conspiracy theory kind of kills itself because they said it was going to destroy the world in 2003, 2012, and 2017. But we're still here. Do you believe that there is a planet out there that will collide with our world soon-ish?
Well, that certainly hasn't happened in 2023 or 2003 or 2012 or 2017. So, doubtful that something's right around the corner like that, I guess, and there's not public knowledge about it. I don't know.
It's the Traveler that's coming.
Could be, but I don't personally know.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to say no for me. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. All right. The next one you might enjoy if you've ever seen Stranger Things. Next one is MK Ultra. So, genuine American research in the 1950s and 60s into chemical interrogation and mind control techniques were followed by many conspiracy theories, like Project Monarch, especially following CIA Director Richard Helm 1973 order to destroy all files related to the project. These theories included the allegation that the mass fatality at Jonestown in 1978 was connected to an MK Ultra experiment.
They thought that Jonestown had to do with MK Ultra?
I guess some people did.
Why?
I don't know. So MK Ultra is chemical interrogation and mind control.
I mean, I do feel like when you consider everything that happened at Jonestown, there was you could argue that there's a degree of mind control that went on there, but that's just really, I would say, due to the power imbalance of people believing that somebody is a prophet of God who's, trying to save them. I don't know. It's like,
I mean, maybe
you could follow a prophet.
Maybe he had mind control powers, though.
To what extent will you believe a prophet if they're saying,
time to die.
God wants you to kill yourself. We're all gonna go to heaven right now. Everybody drink the Kool-Aid and we're all gonna go to heaven right now. That would you would think that before that some people would start to think maybe this guy's not a prophet. But when they were in that situation, I know a lot of people in Jonestown actually, there was a lot who did commit suicide, and there was a lot who did not actually commit suicide, but were forced to drink the Kool-Aid, and they were forced to kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that for the people who were doing it willingly, their minds were being controlled by somebody, whether it was, Mr. Jones. I don't know if how he was affiliated with MK Ultra, if he was.
Well, people just think that he had maybe partaken in the program and then used his powers to create a cult, I guess. But anyway, the theory isn't about Jonestown. It's about MK Ultra. Do you think that the government had experiments to try to get people to have mind control, I guess?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I think so. Well, MK Ultra is a real thing.
Yeah, but you think it was developed to, create mind control?
During the Cold War?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be surprising to me.
Wait, so you believe in MK Ultra, but you are on the fence about artificial diseases?
I said that I'm on the fence about it, in the sense that wouldn't surprise me. You didn't really present me any evidence of it. You just said that some people think that.
Evidence of MK Ultra.
I don't know about that. Because I listened to a.
I watched Stranger Things. It's gotta be real.
Not Stranger Things, but Bailey Sarian does her Dark History podcast, and she did an episode of MK Ultra, and I watched it a long time ago, and I don't remember all the details. Like, I don't really remember very many details, but I remember that from everything, and those are really well researched, and from what she said, it didn't really seem so superstitious to me. But like I said, I don't really remember the details. I just remember the way I felt when I watched it.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to say, did the government try to create superpowers in the 50s and 60s? I'm going to say probably. I would say probably.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Exactly. Exactly. RFID chips. Goodness. Radio frequency identification chips, or RFID, such as those implanted into pets as a means of tracking, have drawn in the interest of conspiracy theorists who believe that this technology is secretly, widely implanted in humans.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I got a recommended video on YouTube, which I have not watched yet, but I do want to watch, about a guy who got a Neuralink chip. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know much about it because, like I said, I didn't watch the video yet. But people getting chipped, I think, is something that...
Well, they believe that...
is likely around the corner.
They believe people are secretly being chipped and tracked by the government.
Yeah, well... Who do they think this is happening to?
Everyone.
They think that all... And this is in America specifically? Or they believe that all... Okay, so they believe that in America, all citizens are being chipped when they're born and their baby's in the hospital? When they...
I have no idea.
You know...
I have no idea
when they go to the dentist and get a cavity filled, they're actually putting a little chip in there or something. Like, what... I need more details about what the theory
says
is.
Secretly implanted in humans is the belief. Here's my thought. I personally do not believe that the government is secretly implementing any sort of tracking devices into people or anyone.
Okay.
But because everyone has cell phones. So like
they don't even need to.
Yeah. It's like
we all carry around our own tracking device. And
exactly.
Let it sleep with us in our bed.
Yeah. Like we all have phones, we have watches, like it all tracks us. And so they don't need to like inject anyone with anything because everyone's already being tracked.
Yeah.
Like I remember I know it's a movie, but in the movie Logan Lucky, when...
Oh, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. When they're like, well, where was he during this time? Like, couldn't we track his phone? And they're like, no, he has a flip phone. It's dead. Like, he didn't pay his bill, and, so he couldn't track it because it was dead.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, well, couldn't we track his car? And he's like, no, he drives like an old beat-up truck without any navigation system, so he couldn't track that either. And then at the end of the movie, because you think he's just like this dumb guy, at the end of the movie, he goes and talks to some of the people he was like in on it with, and he's just like, he's like, I stopped paying my bill, last month, but my phone stayed on for like 3 more weeks. He's like, so I knew the government was tracking me. he's like, because if I don't pay my bill, the next day my phone shuts off. He's like, but when it kept going for the next 3 weeks, he's like, I knew they were keeping an eye on me. He's like, but the second my phone went off, I knew they stopped watching me. And I'm like, that's clever. That's clever.
Funny.
It's funny because it's just like, it's so simple. But so yeah, I would say RFID chips used to track people as implants. No, I think we carry around phones. I don't think they have a need to implant. What do you think?
Agree.
Gotcha. Okay, next one. I don't know if you've noticed, but like they had all these in order. So you'll notice like we talked about body doubles, and then we talked about scientific stuff, and now we're talking about technology. It's all in like an order. But so yeah, if you're noticing a trend, that's the way it is. So the next one is technology suppression. Numerous theorists pertain. Oh goodness. All right, let me try that again. Numerous theorists pertain to the alleged suppression of certain technologies and energies. Such theories may focus on the Viral Society conspiracy, allegations of the suppression of the electric car by fossil fuel companies, and the Phobos cartel set up in 1924, which has been accused of suppressing longer lasting bulbs.
Longer lasting bulbs?
Light bulbs. Other long-standing allegations include the suppression of perpetual motion and cold fusion technology by government agencies, special interest groups, or fraudulent investors. So essentially, there's a belief that better technology exists, but because it would put companies out of business, such as like the suppression of the electric car by fossil fuel companies. Obviously, gas companies don't want an electric car because so yeah, there's a belief that better technology exists but is being suppressed for the profit of the lesser technology, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds legit to me. And that wouldn't surprise me in the
That
least.
sounds legit to you.
Yeah, I mean, well, because if a business is going really well, they've got a lot of money, they're kind of a powerhouse, and they see something that's coming in that's going to threaten that, they're going to throw all their money at eliminating that threat. Because does a company care if you're getting the most efficient product or if you're buying their product? They just care that you're buying their product.
Oh, I thought they wanted me to have the best product.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I feel like it's interesting because like a gas company, right? Like take Chevron, large gas company.
Okay.
Do I think they have an interest in suppressing electric cars? Maybe. If you just take it for like, oh yeah, like cars run on gas and they need to sell their gas. But it's just like, well,
True.
They could also just sell their gas to like the power plant so that, because the power plants still have to power the grid so that people can charge their cars, you know? So it's not like all energy is green energy. And like fuel isn't just used for, like oil isn't just used for gas. Like oil is also used for like
Yeah.
rubber, I think. I don't know.
But then is your point that Chevron shouldn't really be that bothered if people stopped filling their cars with gas because they could redirect their entire business model?
Well, I feel like
'Cause I don't think
that's what I'm
that-
trying to say.
That,
I feel
that's
like
pretty.
their entire business
They could
model.
do that, but that was kind of risky.
I don't think their entire business model. I don't know. I don't work for Chevron, but I don't think their entire business model revolves around like the Chevron gas station down the street. Like, I think they probably have
Yeah.
various interests,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And they're not all like, oh, we're like,
Various interests,
we're
but
betting it
that's
all on the
still
pump, you
that's
know?
still a huge part of what they do.
yeah.
It almost reminds me of like, you know, when Blockbuster was the big thing, and Netflix first came on the scene, and there was things that Blockbuster could have adapted, and
Well, Blockbuster at one point had the option, because Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, "Do you want to buy in?" And they're like, "No, that's a stupid idea." And then, yeah.
So they could have adapted their business model. They also could have bought out their competitor, but they didn't take Netflix seriously as a competitor, which was a horrible misjudgment, because now there's only one Blockbuster left in the entire world, and it's only really around for novelty's sake. But I feel like a company that's being very smart, you know, like let's say that Chevron is smarter than Blockbuster. If they see Tesla or whatever, to them, they're seeing Netflix show up on the block, and they know it's Netflix, and they see the potential, and so why would they not feel like I gotta squash Netflix? I need to maybe pivot to go down that lane a little bit myself so that I can capitalize on that market, but also I want to squash out this competitor because they have the opportunity to get really, really big, and I don't want to get choked out.
But the thing is, squash or invest. You know what I mean? Like, Chevron has billions of dollars. They could just be like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Tesla, here's a bunch of money to buy into your company, so that when you do go big, we have a piece of the pie." You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe I mean,
So it's like,
Could-
who even cares
could
at
be.
that point?
but your conspiracy theory that you're saying right there is just that you think that, or that whoever wrote this conspiracy theory believes that there's companies that are trying to choke out competitors, basically.
Choke out competitors who have better technology.
Yeah, who have better technology. I think that seems really reasonable.
I think
That would be a threat to their business. Better technology would be a threat to their business.
the
So-
only truth to this technology suppression is when it comes to patents. Because I feel like there's companies that have very broad patents for technology or for specific things. And so another person might say, "Oh, I have a really good idea for this." And they'll try to like get into that market, and they'll like invent this really cool thing that works really well, but then someone will come along and be like, "Oh, by the way, what you just built is better than what I have, but I have the patent for what you built, so I own what you have now." And so I feel like that's really the only, in my opinion, the only suppression there, because people are like, "Well, I don't want to get into that industry because someone will just sue me for my ideas and they'll get the credit for my work." And so it's a suppression in the sense that like there's no activity because no one wants their ideas stolen.
Yeah.
But addition, like, I don't think that stops progression, you know. I feel like progression still progresses. So yeah, I'm gonna say suppression of technology for gains. I guess I'm gonna say yeah, I think it exists. What do you think?
I already said I do think that is true.
Okay. This is the last one. You ready?
Ready for what?
This is the last one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The last one I have is the dead internet theory. The dead internet theory is an online conspiracy theory that asserts that the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation, minimizing. Yeah,
I'm just trying. It's like really wordy. I'm trying to follow.
It is very wordy. Do you want me to start over?
The dead internet theory is an online conspiracy theory that asserts that the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation. Okay, now you take up.
Minimizing organic human activity to manipulate the population. Proponents of this theory believe these bots were created intentionally to help manipulate algorithms and boost search results in order to manipulate consumers.
Yeah.
Some proponents of the theory accuse government agencies of using bots to manipulate public perception. The date given for this death was generally around 2016 or 2017.
What do you think?
I mean, you're right, it's very wordy. So let's break it down. Do I think that the internet now consists mainly of bots, AI, and algorithms? Mainly consists? No. I think, yes, there's a lot of it. But I think, kind of like what we're doing now, where we're just like casting more information into the sea of the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
That like there's so many people out there who are just like throwing their 2 cents, pouring their little bit of water into the ocean that is the internet, that there's just so much stuff. And I feel like the bots, the AI, the algorithms were invented to search through just the vast, endless quantity of information that exists online. But I don't believe that it's like, you'd go online and be like, oh, it's just a bunch of AI talking to AI or a bunch of bots talking to bots. No, I think there's actually people on the internet searching for stuff. So I guess in my mind, I imagine like a library, and like they just hired a bunch more librarians to try to help people find stuff. So now consists mainly. So do I think the internet now mainly consists more of librarians than actual people? Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
Well, so this is called the dead internet theory. Do I think that the internet died in terms of human people's interaction on it? No. Do I think that the internet mainly consists of bot activity and automatically generated content? Mainly seems like a really generous adjective to me.
What do you mean?
But, mainly would make you think, what, 90%, 80%, I don't, that seems too far, in my opinion. But do I think that there is a massive amount of bots that are on the internet that are bought and sold for the exchange of power, influence, for sure.
Well, I feel like I think about it like this, right? Like you imagine like your Facebook feed, and you have maybe 500 friends on Facebook, and you do one finger swipe scroll. Would you see more percentage of like your friends posting, or would you see more percentage of just like ads, you know?
So,
I know it's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm not on any social media. And I know I've been on Facebook before. I feel like Facebook seems to me like a more personal social media app because I feel like most people are following. Well, I don't know. I don't know what people's experiences is at this point in time. I feel like at a certain point in time, it's mostly your friends that you know, and then eventually people got into like groups and stuff like that, you know.
But like,
But I know for Instagram, there's a bunch of bots, and there is a value to buying and using them. For example, the Kardashians have bots on Instagram. They also,
how do you know?
people have been able to verify, okay, this percentage of their followers are bots. I don't know how they prove what's a bot account and what's not, but people have researched it and found that there was, and it's like, let's say that, you know, I don't know how many followers, just as an example, let's say that Kim Kardashian had like 220 million followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And 85 million are bots.
Mm-hmm.
Still, majority are real people. But because of the leverage that having a certain amount of followers, whether they're bots or not, for companies, it increases her value in terms of advertisement. Because what they're hoping is to get their product down in front of consumers. So Kim Kardashian, because of how many followers that she has on Instagram, can charge $1 million per post. If she posts a company, they pay her $1 million to get posted once. And so you think, man, that's because of how many followers she has and the engagement on her page.
$1 million?
I'm not even joking you.
That's bananas.
And did you know, okay, this has got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but let me just share this because it's a cute little story.
Are you going to tell me that Kanye West thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
Tell them. I mean, I heard it, but you could tell them.
Kim Kardashian was offered $1 million to promote a brand that rips off Kanye West's clothing. This was back when they were married. She asked him if he was okay with her posting the brand because she knew that they were people who kind of ripped off his clothing. But then she's like, I mean, it's $1 million though. So she asked him how he felt about it. He said, I want you to tell him no, and I don't want you to post them. And she said, all right, you're my husband. If you say that you're not comfortable with it, I'm not going to do it. So she turns down $1 million. And then it was like Mother's Day the next week or something, and he gave her a check for $1 million saying thanks for not selling out, basically, and a contract to become like a joint owner of Yeezy.
Of his company. Yeah. That's cool. But the reason I think that's
my point
wild,
is
though,
$1 million. She gets offered that because of how many the influence that it's perceived she has, even if some of that quote unquote influence was bought.
The only thing that I think about these bot accounts is if they are so real, right? How come people aren't just buying them? And maybe they're like,
people do pay for them.
Well, yeah, sure. But it's just like, they're like, oh, well, like, how come someone's not like, oh, Kim Kardashian has 100 million followers? I'm going to buy 150 million bot accounts. And just, like, be more popular. You know what I mean?
You have to imagine there's it costs money. There's a price associated. It's not like anyone can just buy as many. Like, you have to think about what's affordable. What's affordable
True.
to Kim Kardashian in terms of how many bot accounts she can own versus what's affordable to Joe Schmo is going to be very different.
Okay, say I'm Joe Schmo, and I know that if I had as many followers as Kim Kardashian, someone would give me $1 million to post their brand. So I create an account. I put, I have like 100, 200 posts of me just chilling, I don't know, doing whatever. And then I just buy a whole bunch of bot accounts to like all my stuff and like just boost up my account. And so at that point, I have the fake clout, and then I can just go to people and be like, hey, I'm an influencer. I have all these followers. Give me $1 million to post your brand. And I mean, I could just say, say it costs me $1 million to buy all these accounts. I could just post 10 things, pay off my bot accounts, and I'd still have $9 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kim Kardashian's not the only person who does it.
I don't know.
I think that there's a lot of people who do it, but I think that she has more bot accounts than what other people have. I don't think that it's something that just anybody can buy any amount. That's like, I don't want to be as popular as Kim Kardashian on Instagram. I don't think that just anybody can like do that overnight. Or even over the course of a couple of years. I think that it would take a lot of time and a lot of building and working your way up to it and building your brand, building your business.
I don't know. If I had 10 friends that all made 100 fake accounts because apparently we all had nothing to do. Like, if I just made a program that built fake accounts, I could just chat GPT this whole thing and just say, hey, make me a whole bunch of fake emails and then like email accounts, and then write a software to create, I don't know. In my mind, I feel like if bot accounts are such an issue, I feel like there would be more. Not to say 85 million as a fake number isn't a lot. It's still a lot, but I feel like there should be more.
But I have no idea of how many bot accounts actually exist in the world on the internet. I know that they do exist on the internet. I don't know how many.
Yeah. Okay,
so it's hard to say.
So to go back to that.
And then the government, to manipulate government perception, I think that sounds about right too.
I don't think that's
a
in
lot
their
of
bots though.
A lot of government perception is what people read on the internet. And I heard something one time that people often will believe not the articles that they read, but just the titles of articles that they see.
Mm-hmm.
And if they see the title, they assume that that's the truth, even though they don't even read the article. And so I feel like there could be a bunch of bots that are just going and posting, flashy headlines that are politically motivated to promote one side or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I heard that depending on where you live, because the internet knows...
We checked that out.
Yeah. Like the news that you can Google changes depending on your location.
Your Google search results change. And we did check that one time, and it was true.
Yeah. But...
So I think that's
sort of
a
algorithm.
bit manipulative. Yeah, and that is an algorithm. Well, that's what it says, yeah. Minimizing organic human activity to manipulate the population. I do think that the population is manipulated by algorithms.
Yeah.
For sure.
But do I think the internet's dead? No.
Dead is a weird way of... Dead is a weird way of talking about it. It's not a person.
I feel like I would say the internet is overrun by algorithms, bots, and AI. But I don't think it's dead.
Okay.
Taken over, maybe? Partially? Sure, yeah. I would believe in like a 60-40 split. 60% bot, 40% human. Alright. What are your final thoughts? Or any thoughts?
I do
on
think
dead?
that bots and I do think that algorithms manipulate people on the internet. I think that people are heavily manipulated by algorithms. I think that a lot of people are interested in buying bots because it buys them, it's like an investment. It buys them wealth, opportunities, and power.
Do you think the internet's dead?
What does that even mean? Dead.
Do you think the internet's
Do I think that the
overrun?
internet is dead?
Overrun? Do you think it's if the internet was a country that was invaded by bots, AI, and algorithms, would you say that the bots, AI, and algorithms are in charge, or would you say that humans are in charge?
I mean, I think that there's humans who are running the bots. The bots must belong to somebody. Somebody's profiting off of it, or else it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be created if it wasn't profitable.
So you think the internet is majority human? If you had to give a percentage,
Could not be.
human to machine.
Even if it was a 50-50 split, I wouldn't say that meant that the internet was dead. I mean, how could... To say it's dead, it sounds almost like it's implying that it's exclusively... Like, it's only interacting with itself, and people are not interacting with it, actually.
Correct.
And yet, I don't know a single adult who does not use the internet every single day for hours a day. Do you? You don't.
Maybe some Amish people.
You don't know any Amish people. So to say that it's dead is like, could it really be considered dead when every single person in the world, you could maybe make an argument, is addicted to it?
Okay.
I think that most people are addicted to it. Like, they would have a, what's it called? If they...
A withdrawal.
Yeah, I feel like they would have some kind of, like, withdrawal symptoms if they...
That'd be brutal.
It would be difficult to... If imagine that the internet just, boom, gone out of your life tomorrow. So that means no more GPS, no more YouTube, no more music, no more...
Well, streaming music. You can still have CDs.
How many CDs do you own?
You can still listen to the radio.
Right. But you have a radio in your car.
Yeah.
So you can listen to your radio when you're in your car. You don't even have a radio in your house. You know?
Yeah. I feel like
So, like,
what I thought when you're
imagine
like,
just
if
the way that
internet
your world would be
disappeared.
different. You wake up in the morning. What time is it? I have no idea because my phone, I'm gonna have to go into the kitchen and check the oven. Nobody has a clock in their bedroom anymore. Oh my gosh, I'm late for work. My
Your
my
phone
alarm
still
clock.
works without the internet. Like, it would still tell time.
If you had no internet,
Yeah, if you turned off the internet on your phone right now, it would still tell time.
I suppose that's
It wouldn't.
true.
It wouldn't change
Okay, so then what would
for
change?
time zones.
Okay, so then
but
you
it
would have no more YouTube.
no more YouTube, no more like Google Maps.
No more maps. So you wouldn't know how to get anywhere. Because you don't have a printer. And you can't even Google the directions. You don't have a physical map. So...
I just have to call whoever it is that I'm trying to get to, where I'm going.
Well, let's say that you're trying to get to... You're gonna go to... Wagyu restaurant. There's a Wagyu restaurant that we like. Let's say that you want to go to Wagyu, but you don't have any internet. Well, first of all, you can't look it up on your phone. Second of all, you can't even Google the directions and then print them off. So it's not like you... It's not like you just don't have a GPS. You can't even search the directions. You don't have a map. You don't have a physical map that has the Wagyu restaurant on it. You don't have the phone number of the Wagyu place to call them and say, hey, what's your address? You don't have a Yellow Pages book that has their address listed.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say there's like a 0.01% chance that you find the Wagyu place if you don't have the internet.
Literally?
You have no access to the internet ever, and you cannot be, and nor does anybody else.
But
you are not finding the Wagyu restaurant.
I know where the library in town is. I know where the police station in town is. I know where City Hall is. So I could just literally walk to the library and say, hey, do you have a map of the state that I live in? Do you have a map of the city that I live in? Do you have a map
You wouldn't have to walk to the library because you could still drive your car.
I know, but seriously, like...
Okay, so you go to the library and you say, hey,
can I have a map?
Do you have a map? And they say, yeah. And then you say, where's the Wagyu place? What's the address?
No.
And they say, we have no idea.
And then I would say, do you have a phone book? And then I would
the
look
Wagyu
up...
place is listed in the phone book?
Yeah. And then you'd have to look it up in the phone book. And then you'd...
Hey, the library would be a very busy place then.
It would be a very busy place. But I'm just saying, like, I'd still find it.
I think
and on top of that, I was taken there...
difficult.
Like, someone took me there. So they know where it is. So I could just call them and say, where is it? And they would say, oh, it's over here.
And they would say, I don't remember. I only use my GPS to get there.
I mean... They were older than me, so they would know where it is.
Did they use GPS when they took you there?
Oh, I'm sure they did. But, regardless. Like...
I just know that I've lived
it wouldn't
places...
be a 1% chance. It would literally be like...
5% chance.
It would just be inconvenient. It wouldn't be that I wouldn't...
It would be so inconvenient that by the time you could possibly find out where the Wagyu place is, you had something else for lunch because you got too hungry trying to figure it all out.
You're right. I wouldn't go there like today and be like, oh, it's noon? I'm gonna go research where this place is so I can go to... I would find it and then I would go some other day.
Yeah. I've just lived places where I did not have access to GPS, and I did have to get around based on a physical map that I had, a paper map, and that was how I got around everywhere. I still to this day, I feel like I could get you around those places like it was the back of my hand, even though I only lived there for a short period of time. And then there's places that I've lived for years and years and years that it's like I could barely get you around town without a GPS. Do I know the number? Do I know what the highway that's closest to me is called? Do I know the number of it? No clue.
Well, you just need to get out more.
It's not about getting out more because it's like I could have driven on that highway tons of times, but it's just like the number doesn't seem relevant when all you need to know is turn right here, turn left there. You're not thinking, oh, well, what's the number? What's the name? How does this road connect to this other place? Unless it's a route that you go very often, and then you might remember it. But just like getting around town,
Yeah.
it takes a long time if you're not being intentional about it. It really kind of melts your brain in terms of mapping using a GPS. Anyways, beside the point. Point is, internet. The internet's not dead because every single person who you know who's an adult is using the internet. They're all
and
obsessed.
A lot of children.
They're all obsessed with the internet. Everybody's obsessed with the internet. So that is enough to prove that it's not dead. Although, are we all being manipulated on the internet? For sure. By bots? For sure.
By algorithms? Definitely.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts.
Alright. Well, good talk. I actually didn't think that we'd get through all the conspiracies, but we did. And
We got through them fast. The last one's the one that took us to an hour. I thought we were gonna wrap up quick today. So it kind of seemed like.
anyway, that was good. I'm glad we can get through those. Some of them were interesting, some more than others. Some I just never heard of. But yeah, that was good.
And also, I believe it was since our last conspiracy theory video that Avril Lavigne was on a podcast talking about the conspiracy theory that she's dead, and did confirm that she is in fact not dead.
But
So
I mean,
now we
if
know.
she was, would you say?
She said that she thought it was kind of funny that people think that.
Yeah,
And she said that there's a lot of other conspiracies that could be a lot worse. And the girl was like, worse than you being dead? And she's like, yeah. She's kind of silly.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting when you told me that. You're like, remember what we just talked about?
We just talked about it a couple days ago. Now she's out here talking. She must have listened to our podcast and then been like, oh, I need to go clear that up, and then called up one of her podcasting friends and was like, can I come on your podcast because I heard these people talking about whether or not I'm dead, and I just want them to know that they're right. I'm not dead. I'm pretty sure that was her motivation.
Yeah, probably. I think Avril Lavigne is definitely one of them.
Thanks, Avril. So glad to know that you're listening to our podcast. So glad that you're definitely not dead. Thanks for getting in touch.
Yeah. Thanks, Avril or Melissa, whoever. Anyway.
And she said it was Avril.
Yeah. Anyway.
Imagine if she came out and was like, I am Melissa, actually. It's
I don't
true.
even think people would care.
That would have gotten more attention.
Yeah, she should have. She's been like,
I am
Melissa.
And then she could come out with a book. She could get like one of those Hulu documentaries about her, true crime documentary.
Hulu documentary.
Yeah, you know how it's like any little piece of news that happens. They made a documentary about the fact that Joe Jonas got divorced.
Riveting documentary.
So I feel like any kind of a headline, they're like,
that could
we
be a 4-part
deep
series.
dive on that. We need a deep dive on that. Who's taking care of who has primary care of the kids? Everybody needs to know.
Okay.
This is what people pay $5 a month to find out. I don't know how much Hulu subscription is actually.
Wow.
This is what we pay $5 a month, so that we can know about the inner workings of Joe Jonas's PR team. And who has custody of their kids?
I hear he's dating Melissa these days. I mean, Avril Lavigne these days.
Yeah, she could have gotten her own thing. But that's okay though, at least she was honest. She's not going for the attention seeking. She's just out there telling the truth.
Or is she?
I think she is.
Anyway, until next time. Good talk.
Bye.
Bye.